we're trying to get an extradition request done, okay, and it's in the public domain. I mean, when you would have ordinarily expected that these processes are supposed to be confidential, you know, because it must adhere strictly to all kinds of bilateral and multilateral treaties. It's about people's, you know, how do you call it, personal rights and liberties and so on. And yet it's in the public domain. I mean, who possibly leaked that information in the public domain as to what correspondence is happening between the Aegis Department and that of the OSP? To what end? I mean, how?
Moro, sometimes it is difficult to objectively analyze some of these issues. And from where we sit, it is not just a mere perception that there was so much wrongdoing in the past administration. If you take your cameras out of this studio and you talk to Ghanaians on the streets, you visit our villages and our homes, you'll be surprised the kind of things Ghanaians will tell you. And so the people of this country believe that persons who were given opportunity to serve and who decided to, you know, misappropriate or allegedly amass at the expense of the state must be brought to justice and must be called to account for their stewardship. I believe same. And some way, somehow, the perception out there is that the whole system is slow. People who want to see these things fast track. But as the people within the law fraternity will tell you, the will of justice grinds slowly. And sometimes it can be very, very frustrating. It can be a bit disappointing. It can even come across as though nothing is being done, when in reality, you don't want to, on the altar of political expediency, just bundle anybody and throw him to jail because you assume he has done some wrongdoing. Now, per the governance architecture that we have, per our constitution, the only body that has the power to pronounce anybody guilty is a court of competent jurisdiction. And so you and I can have our own perceptions, can have our own belief, can run our own commentaries based on what we think, we believe, or we saw. But until that is crystallized into an evidence adducible in court, and a judge making a pronouncement on it, it remains allegations. There are several things that we all heard, we all saw prior to the 2024 elections. And if what we heard and saw was need to go by, the expectation is that by now, several people should be in jail, right? But in a democracy, things don't work like that. You know, we have a past as a nation where we have come from, where in years back, you will not be allowed maybe a day in court to go and defend yourself. We could have used other means to punish you as a nation. But we said we don't want those again. Now we want rule of law. We want people to go to court and go and defend themselves. And so sometimes the system, you sit back yourself and say, like, what is going on here? Right? For instance, if you take the cathedral issue, all the exposés that were made by Honorable Akujeto at the time, you ask yourself, do we need additional investigation or information to be able to prosecute people who were involved? But in law, those perceptions alone are not enough to go to court and go and make a case and win a case. You need concrete evidence. The president demonstrated his commitment to fighting this thing even before he was sworn into office. He set up the Oral Committee, whose duty and responsibility was to gather information about wrongdoing in the society and see how such persons could be punished. When they finished their work, they submitted their report to His Excellency the President. The President subsequently forwarded it to the Attorney General's Department for them to build a case, build a docket, and head to court. I am aware this plea bargaining agreement that we have come into, that several people go to Attorney General's office every day and accept that, okay, we're involved in some wrongdoing, or we misappropriated some resources, and that we are ready to pay. My view is that to the extent that this whole issue has become a public issue, and Ghanaians have very high expectation of the outcomes, this thing should not be done quietly. If people have worked to you to admit wrongdoing or that misappropriation of funds, and they are willing to pay, I think that information must be available to the Ghanaian public. That information must be available to the Ghanaian public so that the impression is not created as though people are just sleeping on their job and nothing has been done. People who are manning the office of the special prosecutor must have sober reflection. What is the perception of Ghanaians about that institution since its creation? Martin Amidu was the first person to occupy that office. Eventually, he was booted out. Ajabin came into the office. Even before the MP administrator appointed him, left the office.
He resigned.
Mr. Amidu resigned.
Yeah, he resigned.
That's right.
Yes.
Thanks for the correction. He resigned. And then Ajabin was appointed. Even the MP administrator appointed Ajabin at a point, they were frustrated with his work. And that the court to complain several times about the way he was proceeding. You know, Ghanaians are not interested in the public show. Because Ghanaians believe that there was some wrongdoing. Ghanaians want people punished. See, 3 days ago, I visited a family just to go and say hello to them. And in a conversation, the man was praising the president and the government, you know, on the economic front, all the nice things are happening, things are going on very well. Then the wife retorted, you can do whatever you want to do. You can build a resilient economy. If you refuse to punish wrongdoers in this country, Ghanaians will not forgive your administration. And I was shocked. The way she said it, and I don't want to call it the anger, the body language with which she said it. And so the expectations of the people of this country is so high that when people are given position of responsibility, people are entrusted with the risk of this country, they want to see those things managed to the benefit of the people of this country. And so I sincerely want to plead with the Attorney General's Department. Yes, we all know they have a lot of challenges, the number of cases they have to handle, the number of staff they have and all that.
Okay.
And we even have to go back and look at this our court system, this thing that we call legal vacation, that almost all the courts will be closed down, just a skeletal court that will be operating. Can we look at it again? You understand? Because just like in the civil service and other places, individuals are allowed to go on leave. So as and when the judge can go on leave, but this wholesale closing down of the court and having just a skeletal system working is also not helping, you know, the speedy adjudication of some of these cases. I remember that President Ofori, he brought this in, they call the fast track high court. Yes. It didn't exist, you know, in the form and shape in which it was created.
But Statute Carter struck it down.
You know, yes, it was. But can we go back into law? Can we look at it very well? The people have this expectation that we should even have these tribunals, right? These regional tribunals and the rest, which can even handle some of these cases.
That's part of the NDC's
yes.
Manifesto.
It is something that the expectation that we should do it. Because people think that the system is quite not moving fast. Now, Ajabin, I think it was in April or May that they came out about this whole thing about Ofori-Atta. You know, they are looking for him, they have placed a red alert on him, and they have placed him on Interpol alert, what all the things. And he raised everybody's expectation that something was going to happen. Then by June, July, August, as if everything just feels that nobody was hearing anything again. Up until yesterday, again. So it's as if you are joking with the emotions of Ghanaians or you are playing with the intelligence of Ghanaians. If you think that there's some wrongdoing based on the facts or the investigation you have done, furnish the Attorney General's office with the docket of their investigations. Then they can look at it and then proceed to court to get the man prosecuted. But if that become press conferences here and there and we are not getting, you know, follow-up actions, then it becomes a bit problematic.
Okay.
It becomes very problematic. And so we want to plead with them. I know Dr. Aini and his deputy, they are not sleeping, they are working tirelessly, they are working very hard. They want to, but the expectation of Ghanaians is more than just that. You know, like I said, I know, I am aware, I've heard or people who are going to their office on daily basis, people who are going to Yoko on daily basis. Ghanaians want to hear. Ghanaians want to see this thing. The only time we hear people have gone to Yoko is when they've been detained because they cannot meet their bail condition. Then when their political parties organize before we. Otherwise, people are going there on daily basis.
Okay.
I think that my brother Ramonacha, maybe you should put this information in the public domain. Every week, let us know the number of people who have appeared before, maybe you or you come before your office, and whatever covenant has taken place. If that's what you want to do, why not go ahead? Attorney General, let us know that person A or person B has come before us. This is where we are on the issue. This is where we have arrived. At least that's, frequent updates is of this pressure that is coming from every. Otherwise, the perception will be that nothing is being done and we are just, crucifying people in the media and it ends there. That is what Ghanaians are looking for. Okay. There's so much that we believe happen in this country that people must be punished for. But the truth is that it was not just yesterday or 2 days ago, the former chief executive of NPA and some other people, they were in court. Yes. The national service issues, they are still, I think they are in court. Wound to me and the Galamsey issues, there are several cases that are in court. I think somebody under the PRO, the communication department of the ministry, must make it a point, weekly update of what exactly is going on, where we are going, we have gotten to, not the substantive issues, but at least let us know exactly what is happening within your setup. It will bring down the tension and the expectation that Ghanaians have so that you can proceed and do your work. And I dare say, you see, there was something that happened when NDC came into office in 2009 under Professor Mills that became a major issue. Recently, there was a book that was published by Professor Hue, where it was stated that there were some persons who had been, earmarked to go and face trial along the line. Professor Mills said no, they should let go of the issue and became a whole issue. Later, when they came back into office, the issue was that you said we were corrupt. You came into office for 8 years, you couldn't even prosecute anybody. And so if we were corrupt, how can you couldn't prosecute anybody? I don't think we want that thing again moving forward. Okay. If NDC people are engaged in wrongdoing, let them face the law. If any people are engaged in wrongdoing, let us face the law. I take the very serious exception to the description that Elvis gave to the president when he said, if the president were serious. Okay. I don't think that is good language. You said that. I wrote it down. He said a serious president to suggest that the president is not serious. You and I may have our views, we may have an opinion as to how things must be done. From where the president sits, the information available to him and the things he knows, you cannot expect him to act and behave the way you and I necessarily want him to do. He will do things based on law. If the president invites the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, and says that Ghanaians are complaining, every day, Parliament will hold this public accounts committee. People will appear before the committee and mentioning huge sums of money that has been misappropriated. After the cameras and the public show, it ends at that level. Now the president is saying that, can we look at this thing? If there's no provision in law that will make it possible for us to prosecute them subsequently, can we look at it and position it such that when it comes out truly that people are involved in wrongdoing, the people are made to face the law. I don't think he has done anything wrong for him to be described as a non-place.
You don't need to be offended by me.
No, but you see, let me just land. Let me just land. Oh no, but I've agreed with you. I've agreed with you. I am saying that you can withdraw that. You can no, but you didn't consider it anyway.
I'm not withdrawing. You see, contextually.
You are not withdrawing it. That's fine. That's fine.
You see, but it is important that you
let me just continue. Let me just continue.
I've even insulted presidents on this platform.
Let me just continue. You see, wrong is wrong.
But I'm saying that
wrong is wrong. I will criticize.
Moro.
Can I? Elvis. Oh no. When I finish, you come in. When you were speaking, I wrote it down. No, I wrote it down.
You writing
when I could have interjected, Elvis. I could have interjected when you were speaking. I kept quiet. I wrote it down. So that when I finish, so write it down. You can respond to it. I beg you. I am saying that the way you put it, the way you went about it, in my view, was not right. Don't justify by saying that some persons have insulted president in the past, and so you can do statement which will allow it to slide. No, by inference that the conclusion the point I'm making, what is wrong. I can be very hard on the president. I can criticize the former president. I can criticize Baumia, but I will not openly insult any of them. I can't, and I will not do that. And I think that all of us, incumbent on us, that we must look beyond the personality that is occupying the space. That is the embodiment of all of us. That's the president. That's the man that occupies it. So if you say your president is not a serious person, for me, I think that was too harsh. You can put it in a different way. Right. That's the point I want to make. Okay, so let me conclude by saying that Attorney General's Department, OSP, and all the investigative bodies, Ghanaians want to see action. Ghanaians want to see results. Okay. Ghanaians want to see something being done. Okay. Whatever it is that you are doing in your office on a daily basis, please carry the people of Ghana along. All right. Let us know. Let us be aware. Okay. Update us so that all this, agitations and this thing will come down.